Okay. So the next one will be the tuple. So as I yesterday mentioned clearly, so tuple is a immutable object. Okay. So that means you cannot modify the data which is initially created in the tuple. So let's take example. If I'm writing t equal to open bracket, let's take 10, 20, 10, 30 if I'm writing. So the data what we have here, this is fixed. So in straightforward, if you talk about in general terminology, it will behave like a constant. Sorry. So whatever the data we have in the tuple, that data cannot be modified. You cannot insert the new item or you cannot delete the item. So no operation we can perform on the tuple. So that's why we don't have any methods on the tuple. Just we have some properties like as we know. First one is length of the tuple that will give the size of the tuple. Here in this case 4. And similarly, if it is similar data, it works like min of the tuple, that will be the minimum value. Similarly, maximum value, and the last one we have sum. Okay, so this is similar to list only. Okay, we have like basic properties, I can say that, and the del keyword also will work on. Del t means will delete the completely tuple. Okay, but as I mentioned yesterday, so it does not support the individual value to delete. Like example, delete the index. Like example, tuple of 0, tuple of 1, it cannot perform because partial operation we can't do or partial deletion we cannot do. Either you can delete complete tuple. Okay, so these properties will work as like list only. There is no difference. And other than this, we don't have much methods comparatively list like append, add, extend, such kind of methods we cannot perform. But like we have the basic retrieval data, like example, we have 4 elements in tuple. So if you want to print that data, we can use for loop like for x in t, like t here in the sense collection object, and print x. So now it will print all the values in the tuple, or else you can use even index also. Let's take print of t of 0 will give you the first value. Okay, so likewise you can able to retrieve the data from the tuple. So likewise we can able to retrieve the data from the tuple, and we can able to just find the basic properties on the tuple. And also index also we can find, like we have that print of e dot index of value. Let's take index of, if I'm giving 10, it will give you the 0. So it will give the first occurrence of the value. Like index does not give all the indices with the value present. It only will give you the index of the value first time where it is available in the collection. Okay. So likewise, it will give the index. And we other than this, I think we don't have any other functions. So these are the major functions we have in the Python tuple. Okay, so that's why tuple is very limited usage, I can say that, but mostly we use a tuple for sending the data from one place to another place. Like example, in functions, if you want to return a data, most of the times we use it to tuple, because in like example, you are sending someplace, right? So in between, it is not allowed to tamper the data, or it does not allow to modify the data, because tuple cannot be modifiable. So there will be a guarantee that our data won't be tampered or altered by someone without our notice. That is the advantage of tuple. So that's why tuple maximum use case is transfer the data from one place to another place wherever you use. Like example, sending the mail, or sending the data from cloud to local to cloud, anywhere, like even one function to another function. So in that all places, mostly we use a tuple to send the data. And once we got the data, again we will typecast to list or other object. We can do that. Like example, as I mentioned already, we have typecast functions. Like example, in this case only, tuple is equal to, let's take 10 comma 20 is there. Now you want to convert to list li. So then you can use list of t. Then automatically it will convert to list. Similarly, if you want to change the li to tuple back, then also we can do tuple of li. Likewise, you can typecast them. Okay, but technically, if you have the operation, I mean that if you want to perform any operations on collection, it is better to recommend to use the list. But if you want to transfer the data from one place to another place, generally it would be recommended to use the tuple, because tuple data cannot be altered or tampered in between the process. Okay, so that is how the tuple and list generally we used in the real time applications. Okay, so any doubt as of now? And as I mentioned earlier, last class also, again I'm repeating, simple straightforward difference between the tuple and list is mutable nature. So list is a mutable, so the data can be modifiable, and tuple is a immutable, so the data cannot be modifiable. Other than that, other all features are similar to each other, like it's both supports indexing and both supports duplicate values, and also both are ordered collections. And also one more important, I mean that feature extra Python supporting negative indexing. In Python, it supports negative index also. Like example, we have 10, 20, 30, assume that, okay? So generally the index will be assigned like 0 and 1, okay, and 2, positive indexing, right? There will be a negative indexing also supports in the Python. So the last value is mentioned by generally, okay, sorry. So this will be the -3 and the -2, and this will be -1. I mean to say the last value is indicating by -1. Similarly, the reverse order will be retrieved. It means that, let's take example, if I'm getting the Li of 0 or Li of -3 will give you the same output. So in the both output will be here, in this case it will be 10 only. Okay. So likewise in Python also we can use in the retrieval, but Java does not support. Java always support positive index, that is also starts with 0 only. But in Python you can use both negative and positive as per requirement. Okay, that is also one more new point in the Python. Okay, so till this point, any doubt?
No, sir.
Good. So now, as I mentioned already, after the tuple we have set. Okay, so it is it is built in that this collection is built up in the Python to represent the sets in the mathematics. Now, generally in maths also we have sets concept, right? Like example, union, intersect, and union all, minus, that all topics. If you remember the same signature, if you want to maintain in the Python, we can use the set concept. It is also a collection, but along with regular operations, we can also perform the set operations, like example union, intersection, difference, and symmetric difference, that all operations. Okay, it is a mutable object, as I mentioned earlier, so we can do the operations. But the major difference between the list and set is, one is values. List allow the duplicate values, but set does not allow the duplicate, it allow the only unique values. So set, whenever you insert the even though duplicate, the output it will give you the unique values only, it doesn't give any duplicates. The first major difference, that one. So whenever you required a unique collection in any application, so you want to store some data that allow only unique values, that should not allow the duplicate values. So in that case, you can it recommends to use the set in the Python. Okay, so set allowed to store only unique values, does not allow the duplicate values. That's the first difference. And second difference, set is a unordered collection. So unordered means the data whatever we inserted into the set, the order might changes in internally. We cannot expect the same order how we insert. Example, if we insert the order 10, 20, just imagine that. Okay, but the output or the placing internally, that might be order of 10, 20 or 20, 10. There may be any order. We cannot issue that order of the set. That is the second major difference. So one is it's a collection of unique values, and the second difference, it is unordered collection. So you cannot expect the order. That's why we cannot use index to represent the data. See, in the above list, the order is fixed. That's why always Li of 0 will give the 10, Li of 1 will give the 20. But in set, it cannot predictable, because sometimes 10 will be in the first position, sometimes 20 will be the first position. That's why the index cannot be used. So direct retrieval only we can use this. Okay, so now let's take S equal to, I'm writing 10, 20, 30. Single curly brackets we can use to represent the S. And here also for retrieval, same signature for X in S, like print value. So likewise by using for loop we can use. And after that, methods will be similar to that, but instead of append, extend, we have here add and update. Like example, if you want to add the new value to the set, we can use add method. Similarly, if you want to add multiple values, like in the list we have extend, right? Similarly here, if you want to add multiple values, you can use the, let's say update method. Sorry, not the update. So update method will add the multiple values to the set. So these two methods we used for insertion. One is add, another one is update. Any doubt till this point?
No, sir.
And after this, we have like to remove as usual, clear s dot clear will clear, I mean to say will remove all the elements. So s dot clear will delete all the data from the set. So it will give the empty set. Similarly, s dot remove also will work here to remove the data from the set. Okay. And s dot pop. So these three methods as like list will work on what do you call set also. So these three methods will use it to remove the data. So clear will remove all the elements. Remove will remove the specified element, like whatever the element we specified. Again, I'm telling, if you have the duplicate values not in the set anyway, it will remove the first occurrence only. It does not remove all the elements. Okay. And as I mentioned, pop will remove the random value, because as I mentioned, right? So in a list, pop always will delete the last value, because there is a following ordered. But here, what will be the last value, we may not sure, right? Because it depends on the system, not on our insertion. So that's why the pop always will remove the some random value. We may not should what that value, but we can capture that. Like example, if I'm writing some x equal to s dot pop, then it will remove some value from that set, and that will store in the x. So if you print this x, you can get to know that what value is removed. Okay. So likewise, pop method you can use for removal the data for, I mean the random value from the what you can say the set. Okay. So any doubt as of now?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So the next method commonly, yeah, common method for all the collection, as I mentioned, copy method. Like for example, s1 equal to s dot copy will give the duplicate set of the same copy. Along with these methods, as I mentioned, the main purpose of the set given to here is set operations. Like example, we have 10, 20, 30. Assume that S2 is equal to we have 20, 30, 40. Okay, here we have two sets. So now we can perform the set operations on the this S1, S2, like S1 dot union of S2. So now it returns the all the elements from the both the list without duplicates. So now the output will be 10, 20, 30, 40. So all the values from both the sets will give you without duplication. Similarly, if I'm writing S1 dot intersection, okay, intersection of S2. Now it will give the common elements from both the lists, that is 20, 30, only common elements. And next one, S1 difference, okay, of S2. So that means minus. So the elements which are there in the S1, which are not there in the S2, that is indicating here in this case 10, because 20, 30 common. So 10 is the unique element to the S1. Similarly, if you write reverse, so S1 difference S1. So now you will get the opposite value called 40. Now if you want to get this 10, 40 as a single set, so that is what we call technically S1 dot symmetric difference. Symmetric difference. Symmetric difference means union of S1 minus S2 and S2 minus S1 basically. So now S2. So now it will give you the other than common elements. So that is 10 comma 40. So by looking this example, you can understand. But these are the set operations what we have in the Python to perform on the sets. Okay. Just check it out. If you have any doubt, please ask. So these are the set operations. Just go through each method what we have in the sets. So once you clear, then we may go with dictionary. So last collection we have in the Python. So, but these collection topic very, very important, because in our real-time program examples, most of the times we use collections along with our primitive data types called int, float, string. Along with that, we can use these collections most of the times. Okay, I hope you understand. So the last collection we have is dictionary. Okay. So as I mentioned already, so dictionary can be represented in key value pairs. Let's take example. A will be 1, let's take B will be 2, let's take C will be 3. Okay. So this is the format we use to represent the dictionary. So here the outer structure will be curly brackets, but internally here key colon value. So the first whatever we have A, B, C are technically called as keys. Okay. So in this keys are A, B, C, and the values are okay 1, 2, 3. But there is no hardcore rule like values might only integers or keys might be string. It's not like that. String will be there. Integer string will be there. Float. It your concept. Okay. But keys always will be unique. For example, if I'm writing again A, okay, if I'm writing, so let's take here if I'm writing like this, I written, assume that. So in this case, what happens, it doesn't show any error, but the finally your A value will be 4. There won't be 1. Now in this case, A value will be 4 only, okay, because the last whatever you inserted, that will be treated as, and that will be internally override the first value. So that's why when you have the duplicate keys, it will override the existing keys. It will maintain always one key at a time, okay. So that is another one. And when we call the word called items means the combination of tuples of both, like a comma 1 key value pairs, and B comma 2, and C comma 3. Likewise, these are called items. Okay. So based on this, on dictionary also we have different methods. Like example, if you want to get only keys, okay, for K in D dot keys. So here method is keys. So keys will return the only keys from the dictionary. So now you will get only, as I mentioned, A, B, C. Okay. Similarly, the next method will be for V in D dot value. So values will return the only values from the dictionary. Okay. Print V. Now if you want to print both at a time, we can use items. Like for example, K comma V in D dot items. And now print K comma V. So here these three methods will help you to print the data only. If you want to print only keys from the dictionary, you should use D dot keys. Okay. If you want to print only values, you can use D dot values. If you want to print both key and value, you can use D dot items. These are the three methods commonly available to retrieve the data from the dictionary. Okay. And similarly, we have also, for example, if I'm writing K in only D, I didn't write any method, just a dictionary I written. In this case also, you will get the keys only. Remember that point. Sometimes they will ask, okay, don't confuse. If I'm not using any inbuilt method beside the dictionary, by default, it will give you the keys only. It does not give the values, okay. But if I want to get the values in this case, they given the inbuilt method called get. Okay, let's take example. In this case, if I want to get the value, so you can use D dot get of K, or another approach, D of K. Simply you can write D of K. These two ways you can retrieve the data based on the keys. Okay, because by default dictionary will return the keys, but based on the keys you can able to retrieve the data either by using get method or by using indexing method. So in the both you can able to retrieve the data for the given key in the dictionary. Okay. Or like example, if you specifically want to get single value, yes, you can write D dot either get of, like example, A. Now it will return the 1. Similarly, you can write print D of A. It is also will give you the 1 only. Okay, get method will help you to fetch the data from the given key in the dictionary. Okay. So till this point, if you have any doubt, please ask me. But the dictionary is very, very important. These methods also very, very important. Please try to understand each method and ask me if you are not clear with any of that. If you clear, then I will go with some other methods. Take maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes of time and just tell me.
Waste of time. I'm going to start.
Any doubt as of now?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So now the other method as usual. So d dot clear will remove all the data from the dictionary. So clear method will delete everything from the dictionary and keep the empty dictionary. Okay. And also we have like to remove that we have dot pop item. Okay. So there is a method called pop item in the dictionary. So the pop item, what it will do, it will delete the last inserted key value page. So that last item, I can say that deletes the last item. Okay, last last item. So if you want to delete by default the last one, we can use the pop item. But if you're using the pop only pop, so then you can mention the key to delete like as like remove. So when you mention the some key to pop method, it will delete the specific key value pair. What do you what do you mean? Yeah. So pop item will delete the by default the last item, and pop will delete the element for given key. So whatever the key we given for that key, the data will be removed from the dictionary. Okay. So these are the three methods used to delete. And now to add or update. So we can use update method only. D dot update. Let's take example here. I'm writing. Let's take D. Okay. Colon 4. Now this will be updated to the dictionary as a new value, or else in the day just if you written like d of sorry uh, d of to make it avoid the confusion here I'm giving, let's take e. Okay, now if I'm writing d of e, so the key will treat as a new key and will add to the dictionary. Let's take 5. Okay, so updation can do in two ways, like as like set method update, and like key you can represent. If it is already there, it will update the value. If it is not there, it will insert the value. For both insertion updation, same process will do in both the cases. So how dictionary will work? If the key already exists, it will update the existing key. If key is not exist, it will insert the respective key with the value in the dictionary. So for both operation, we'll do the same thing. As usual, as similar to mention, if you want to clone the existing object, we can use d dot copy. So copy will create the duplicate object and will store in the another object. So that copy is common for all the collections from list to dictionary. All it have, and we can use for the copy the data from one object to another object. Any doubt as of now?
No, sir.
Okay. So the next one we have like here two methods commonly we used. One is from keys and another one zip method. Okay, these methods will help you to create the dictionaries based on the existing collections. Okay, example, there is a L1 is equal to 10 comma 20 comma 30. Assume that there is a L2 of L2 is equal to A comma B comma C. Okay, let's take example. Now from, for example, by considering the first list, I want to convert to dictionary by mapping the same value. Assume that for all these three values, I want to append to int. Okay. Now in this case, we can use dictionary dot from keys bracket open L1 comma let's take int. So now in this case, the output will be here curly bracket for each value, whatever 10, 20, 30 is there, right? So for each key, let's take 20, it will int, comma, 20, it will map the int, comma, 30, it will map the int. So the same value, if you want to map to all the keys, okay, all the keys, so then we can use the from keys. So it will simplify the mapping the values from one key to all the values, okay. But similarly, if you want to map the two separate lists, like example, in this case, one list with one static value. The static value is mapped to all the values at a time, right? But if you want to map L1 and L2, okay, as a key and value pairs, in that case, we can use the zip method. Like example, D equal to dictionary of zip of L1 comma L2 if I'm writing L1 comma L2, okay, if I'm writing the output would be now, so L1 will be as similar to that 10 A comma 20 colon B comma 30 colon C. So that means if you want to combine two list as a single dictionary, we can use this particular zip method, okay. So these are the inbuilt methods which we have with respect to the dictionary, okay. So these all are different inbuilt methods which were available in the Python to operate on the collections, like was list, tuple, set, and dictionary, okay. But as I mentioned, in the next class we'll cover different examples by covering these all methods, so that you will understood how to use in the our examples also, okay. So by that you will clarify that how to use the collections in our daily. After this also you can try to integrate collections in every place of work. Any doubt as of now?
No, sir.
Good then. So that example we have in the next class. So as I mentioned, so tomorrow onwards we have a Pongal vacation. So happy Pongal. So we'll meet on the next Monday for the next class with examples. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye bye.